Happy Father's Day. It is Father's Day, 2008. You know somehow I've missed out on Father's Day. I've raised 3 boys. I have another boy that I didn't raise. And then I have some other young people that lived here at the house as foster kids over the years that consider me dad. But it's a conspiracy with these kids. They've never, ever celebrated for me Father's Day. Oh, it's been embarrassing. They've always celebrated Mother's Day for me. I get Mother's Day cards from them. They used to even call the talk show every Mother's Day and say, "Happy Mother's Day, Jer." I think they thought it was sort of a joke. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I play along with the joke now. I was thinking about my dad since it's Father's Day. He's been dead for many years. And I thought of other people that I kind of thought of as dads. Maybe really not mine, like my family is mainly kind of make-believe, and it's not really real. I mean, I didn't give birth to these children, even though they celebrate Mother's Day. But one of those people was a talk show host in Portland, Oregon. His name was Jack Hurd. Jack was a very special guy. I'm not even sure what Jack's background was. I know he lived in a big house on the river. It was right up above the Willamette River. And that house cost $4 more than he could have ever made as a talk show host. In fact, I'm not even sure if Jack needed to do talk shows to pay for that house. He had been in business, I know, for many years in Portland. But Jack was in his 60s and I was in my 20s. And the people, they would say, "You know, Jack, you take care of Jer because Jer is your protege." Well, I don't know if Jack appreciated that. Jack was ill when I met him. He was in his 60s. He had emphysema. I remember the last thing Jack said to me was, "Jer, stop that pipe. Believe me, you got to stop." How strange that my own father, the last thing that he said to me was, "Don't smoke." Yet I still smoke. I'm not a good learner. But I was thinking this Father's Day about Jack Hurd. I was thinking about his strange style of doing a talk show, which somehow is a style similar to mine, but it was strange because I had the style that Jack used prior, I think, to meeting Jack. I don't know if I really learned it from him. But we have an election coming up, and I'm thinking I should tell you the election story of Jack Hurd, and it kind of gives some insight into the way Jack was as a talk show host. George Wallace was running for President of the United States of America. But George Wallace chose not to come to the Pacific Northwest. Instead, he sent his campaign manager, a heavy-set man, with a white suit, a white shirt, a white tie, and the biggest white hat you ever saw. And he carried the most manly cigar I have ever seen. It looked like a small baseball bat. For some reason, which I don't know, they declined an interview on my program. They went for Jack Hurd. I don't know why. That's one of those mistakes, you know. It's too late, though. He's already there in the studio. And there were about 5 of us. We were in the producer's room looking through the glass window, and it was quite a picture. Jack in a T-shirt with his oxygen machine because of his emphysema. I used to always think that machine was going to blow up and kill us all. Big bottle of oxygen with a face mask. Jack has it on. And he's asking his in-depth questions, which he is known for. Jack starts the interview with George Wallace. He's running for president. This campaign manager, yes, that's true. George is running for president. Jack says, what kind of car does he drive? It's a Chevrolet. The people's car. Mr. Wallace, Governor Wallace, believes in driving the people's car. Jack says, does he like being governor? Yes, he likes to serve the public, this Governor Wallace. Jack says, what kind of food does he eat? What does he have for breakfast? Well, I don't often have breakfast with Governor Wallace, but when I do have breakfast with Governor Wallace, I think he has ham and eggs and country-fried tomatoes. No, they're potatoes. That's good. Well, Jack always had a little laugh. When we heard it, we knew that the sword was about to be plunged into the innocent victim. And it was here that Jack did... The man still, puffing on his cigar. Jack, after the laugh, kind of looks contemplative, and then he looks over at the guy and he says, I understand Governor Wallace is a heterosexual. Well, the guy flies back in his chair. The cigar flew out of his mouth. His hat went off. He gasped for air and he said, my God, no! Now, Jack was a man who knew how to use silence as one of the greatest tools in broadcasting, and he let that silence go, with the man still holding the cigar that was now blown across the room. I bet it was 30 seconds. The silence was deafening. And he said, my God, yes! Yes, he is a heterosexual! He is! I remember them taking the man out of the studio. Now he was as pale as his suit. Well, if you know history, you know that Governor Wallace did not become president, and you know why that happened, and it's not probably one of the better moments in history here, but it certainly was one of the greatest moments in the history of talk radio in Portland. It's emblazoned in the back of my mind. Why, that guy's mouth looked like a dishpan and his eyes looked like saucers from the time that question was asked until they led him out to the car. Anyway, what that has to do with Father's Day, I don't know. But a happy Father's Day to each of you, if you will excuse me.